My dear ones, not too long ago, you and I spoke about men, about the questions of the heart, about the quiet wounds we carry, and about the truths we often whisper only to ourselves. Tens of thousands of you responded to that conversation, each message like a small light shining back at me. But today I want to take you deeper, into a topic more intimate, more sacred, more essential. Today we are going to talk about you. Tell me honestly, how often do you stand in front of the mirror and fail to recognize the woman who looks back at you? Is she a tired mother, a steel-strong businesswoman, or perhaps a woman who has simply forgotten what it feels like to enjoy life without rushing, without proving anything, without carrying the world on her shoulders? Inside each of you lives not one woman, but many. You are an entire theater of characters, energies, moods, and forgotten dreams. One day, you want to command armies. The next, all you want is to curl up under a blanket and disappear from the noise. Within you lives a passionate lover, a wise priestess, a gentle caretaker, a fierce warrior, a radiant muse. But usually, one voice becomes louder than the rest. That voice becomes your leading archetype, your superpower. Yet sometimes, you get stuck in just one role. And when you do, you lose access to the other sources of feminine energy that once made you feel whole, alive, and beautifully multidimensional. So today, we are going on a journey, a psychological journey, simple, honest, and revealing. We will explore 6 archetypes of feminine energy. I will show you examples of well-known actresses, but we will not focus on their movie roles. We will look at the energy they radiate, the invisible field that surrounds them. And I ask you only one thing. Listen to yourself. In which of these archetypes do you recognize the woman you are today? And to which one does your soul whisper, I want to be her? So settle in. Find a comfortable position. Let your breath slow down. This is not a test of appearance. This is a conversation about your inner strength, about the woman you were, the woman you are, and the woman you are becoming. Now, our ascent begins. She is the peak of personal and social self-realization. She is dignity. She is sovereignty. She is the quiet power that fills a room without ever raising her voice. We call her the Queen. Look closely at these faces. Do not analyze their features. Feel the field they create. Cate Blanchett. There is no rush in her movements. There is cold aristocracy in her gaze, a deep, precise intellect. She does not seek approval. She does not bend to please. She enters a room, and the space rearranges itself. Conversations soften. Eyes turn. Presence becomes a kind of magic. Helen Mirren, a masterpiece of mature authority. She teaches us that the crown is not worn on the head. It grows from the spine. Her wrinkles are not flaws. They are diamonds carved by time, carried with pride. She speaks softly, yet her whisper is louder than most people's shouting. Monica Bellucci, the earthly queen, beauty so grounded, so self-possessed, that the world instinctively stands at attention. Her energy is dense, aware, fully anchored in her own value. But how do you know if this archetype lives within you? If the Queen resonates with you, it means you've completed an important inner transformation. You've grown from a girl who wants to be liked into a woman who knows exactly who she is. Her defining trait? Total self-respect. The Queen does not compare herself to others. She honors her strengths. She accepts her flaws. She allows herself to occupy space in the world. A queen never runs after a departing bus, and she never runs after a man. because she knows the sacred truth. What is mine will not leave me. What leaves me was never mine. It is not arrogance, it's peace. Her superpower? Boundaries. Not the kind built from fear or anger. She does not scream, she does not beg, she does not explain endlessly. She simply steps away from what does not honor her. Her no is calm, steady, and final, and few people dare to argue with it. She values structure, quality, and order, from the coat she wears to the people she lets close. In relationships, she seeks an equal, not a servant, not a tyrant. A king, a partner of equal strength, but every strength carries a shadow. The queen's shadow is the snow queen, frozen, untouchable. A woman who protects herself so fiercely that love cannot enter. Perfectionism becomes a prison. Self-reliance becomes isolation. She fears vulnerability. She fears needing anyone. She fears removing the crown, even for a moment. And in that fear, she becomes lonely at the top. So ask yourself, has your inner backbone turned into an iron rod that cannot bend? Have you built an ice wall around your throne? Because even a queen needs warmth. Even a queen needs softness. Even a queen needs an embrace. When your life feels chaotic, when you are disrespected, when you feel your worth slipping, call your inner queen. Straighten your spine. Speak slower. Move with intention. Remember, you were born deserving the best. The queen comes not to wage war, but to govern her life with wisdom and justice. Now, let the temperature shift. Let the room grow warmer, almost electric. Because we are stepping into the most vital, most misunderstood, most forbidden feminine energy of all. The lover, the seductress, the goddess of desire. Look at these women. Here, the energy changes completely. There is no distance. There is pull, undeniable, magnetic, primal, Salma Hayek. This is the gold standard of the lover archetype in a mature woman. She is not a model type of beauty. She is abundance. A richness of form, presence, warmth. Her every gesture says, I enjoy myself. She moves like ripe fruit warmed by the sun, full, generous, alive. Penelope Cruz, another facet of the lover, the haze of passion, Spanish fire, mystery woven into every glance. There is always a story behind her eyes, a labyrinth in which a man willingly gets lost. Megan Fox, pure provocation. A lightning strike of confidence, a woman who moves with fearless magnetism, as if daring the world to look away. But let us reveal the truth. Many women, especially after 45, think the lover archetype is only about the bedroom, about seducing men, or about revealing outfits. Absolutely not. This archetype is about aliveness. It is your internal battery. Your ability to feel flavor, texture, warmth, pleasure. It's the spark that lets you taste your food, enjoy the wind in your hair, feel silk on your skin, smell perfume, and remember who you are beneath all the roles. If the queen lives through I must, the lover lives through the sacred feminine principle of I want. Her superpower? Pleasure, sensation, presence. And here is a secret that many women forget. Men and the world are drawn not to perfection, but to energy. A man is drawn like a moth to a flame toward a woman who enjoys herself. Not a wrinkle-free woman, not a 20-year-old. A woman whose eyes shine with enjoyment. Your lover code is expressed in slow, fluid movements, in deeper breathing, in eyes that soften rather than tighten. Your mantra becomes, I am the source of pleasure, first for myself, then for the world. A woman like this does not beg for love. She is love. But in this archetype too, there are shadows, and they come in two dangerous forms. Shadow 1, the starved lover. This happens when there is plenty of energy, but none of it is mature. Here, a woman becomes dependent on male attention like a stimulant. She constantly needs validation. Tell me I'm beautiful. Look at me. Notice me. Without external admiration, she deflates. This leads to drama, emotional swings, theatrical jealousy, attempts to compete with much younger women, and sometimes even vulgarity. She becomes noise instead of music. Shadow 2, the frozen lover. And this one is far more common, especially with age. This is the woman who has locked her sensuality in the basement of her psyche. She tells herself, I'm too old for this. It's not appropriate at my age. Comfort is more important than beauty. She stops buying beautiful lingerie because no one sees it anyway. She chooses clothes only for convenience. She cuts her hair short because it is practical. Slowly, she becomes function, a worker, a caretaker, a provider, but no longer a woman. And without pleasure, she internally dries out like a flower left without water. The sparkle disappears from her eyes. How to awaken the lover within you. If your life feels dull, mechanical, flavorless, then your lover needs resurrection. And no, this does not require dating anyone. You begin with your body, because the lover lives in the body. Get a massage. Buy the expensive body cream and apply it slowly, not while rushing out the door. Wear red lipstick even if you're only washing dishes. Put on music and let your hips move privately in your kitchen. Reclaim sensuality as your birthright. Say to yourself, I am alive, I feel, I desire. And something miraculous happens. As the lover wakes up, every other archetype transforms. The queen gains a mysterious sparkle in her gaze. The caretaker becomes inspired and warm again. The warrior softens her fists, and the world begins offering you silent compliments, because inner radiance cannot be hidden. Now, take a breath. Let this warmth settle into your body. When you are ready, we will move into the third archetype, the priestess, the mystic, the woman of depth and intuition. Now, let the atmosphere shift once more, from warmth to something quieter, deeper, a little mysterious, a little unsettling, a type of energy you cannot explain logically, but you feel it immediately, like a presence that sees more than it says. This is the priestess, the wise woman, the mystic, the keeper of inner knowledge. Look closely at these faces. They do not shout. They do not seduce. They pull you inward. Tilda Swinton. A being outside of time, outside of age, outside of categories. Looking at her, you sense she carries secrets of the universe, not learned, but remembered. Her beauty is strange, ethereal, almost untouchable. She does not aim to be attractive. She aims to be true. Ava Green. Magnetic darkness. Eyes like deep wells. A presence that makes you aware of your own hidden thoughts. She is not easy, she is not comfortable, but she is unforgettable and profoundly real. Winona Ryder. A different dimension of the priestess, fragile sensitivity, an exposed nerve, a soul that feels everything with painful clarity. She seems as if she can hear the emotional vibrations in the air that others ignore. What does this archetype mean if you see yourself here? If the priestess speaks to you, you are a woman of depth, most likely an introvert or an ambivert who chooses carefully where she gives her energy. Crowds drain you. Small talk bores you. Noise overwhelms you. Your power does not come from physical presence like the queen, nor from sensuality like the lover. Your power comes from seeing truth, seeing intention, seeing what lies beneath the surface. You are a walking lie detector. You enter a room and instantly feel if something is off, even if everyone smiles. You read eyes, tone, pauses, energy. You notice the things people hide, even from themselves. Practical or spiritual, you are naturally drawn to knowledge. Psychology, philosophy, astrology, art, literature, science, healing, symbolism. You seek meaning rather than entertainment. You want to understand how the world works and how the soul works. People come to you not for parties, but for clarity, for answers, for emotional refuge. In relationships, you are a mirror. Your presence makes a man grow, not materially, but spiritually. He becomes more aware, more honest, more aligned with his purpose. With you, silence becomes a conversation. A shared glance becomes communication. You create a sacred space where masks fall away and authenticity finally breathes. But every depth has a shadow. The priestess's shadow is dangerous, not to others, but to herself. Shadow 1. The hermit. You retreat so deeply into your inner world that you lose contact with reality. You feel safer in thoughts than in life. People begin to feel unnecessary. You no longer relate to ordinary problems, bills, chores, small joys, because your mind floats in the realm of ideas. Spiritual pride begins to whisper, "I am different. I am above all this." This disconnect can lead to isolation, and isolation can become its own frozen prison. Shadow 2. Emotional coldness. Those around you reach toward you for warmth and touch a glass wall. You love deeply, but quietly. You feel intensely, but internally. And sometimes, your silence becomes mistaken for indifference. You may forget to hug, to smile, to show affection. Not because you don't care, but because your mind is busy wandering higher realms. Shadow 3. Escaping into mysticism. Instead of solving real problems, you may drift into rituals, symbols, signs, hoping the universe will fix everything. You wait for intuition instead of taking action. You burn candles instead of making decisions. You pray for clarity, but avoid the practical steps needed to change your life. How to bring the priestess back into harmony. Your task is simple but essential. Ground yourself. Keep your mind in the sky, but your feet on the ground. Do not deny your depth. It is your gift. Do not try to become noisy, social, or superficial. It will drain you. Your mystery is magnetic. But come out of your internal temple sometimes. Share your wisdom with warmth, not with superiority. Look into people's eyes, not through them. Let your sensitivity heal, not isolate. Remember, your intuition is a light, but light must shine into the world, not hide in a cave. Take a breath. Feel the quiet power of this archetype settling inside you. And now, prepare yourself, because we are about to step into a completely different realm. The fourth archetype is loud, fast, sharp, and fiercely modern. The warrior, the Amazon, the unstoppable force. Now we leave the quiet temple of the priestess and step onto a battlefield. The air becomes sharper, the temperature drops, every sound becomes clearer. Because this archetype is forged in motion, strategy, discipline, and fire. This is the warrior, the Amazon. The archetype most familiar to the modern woman, the one society often demands from her, sometimes long before she is ready. Look at these women. Their energy does not whisper. It strikes. Charlize Theron. Think of her in her iconic roles. Danger carved into beauty. Steel beneath elegance. She could be wearing a gown worth thousands of dollars, and yet you know, with absolute certainty, that if something went wrong, she would be the first to take action. She is decisive. She is fearless. She survives. Gal Gadot. Honesty, courage, and moral strength in motion. You sense her principles just by looking at her. A woman who stands for something and will defend it without hesitation. Angelina Jolie, especially as Lara Croft or Evelyn Salt. Intellect sharpened into strategy. Emotional control refined into precision. She is always one step ahead, reading situations like a chess master. Do you recognize yourself here? If this is your archetype, you are a woman of action. You do not wait for a savior. You have long stopped expecting someone else to solve your problems. You've tightened your boots, climbed onto your own metaphorical horse, and charged into life head-on. You built your career. You pay your bills. You drive your car across long highways on your own. You handle repairs, taxes, paperwork, emergencies, things many people fear. You navigate daily. Your mind is fast. Your reactions are sharp. Your eyes scan every room instinctively. Where's the exit? What's the danger? What's the opportunity? Your greatest value? Independence. The idea of depending on someone, financially or emotionally, feels unbearable. You pride yourself on being self-contained. You are the woman in the old saying, "She can stop a galloping horse and walk into a burning house." What is a warrior like in love? Challenging, yes, but incredibly reliable. You do not seek a father figure. You do not need rescuing. You seek a partner, someone who stands beside you, not above you. You don't nag. You don't demand constant attention. You don't crumble during crises. In fact, you often become the anchor. You are the woman who will stand back to back with her man during hard times and hand him ammunition. You are strength. You are consistency. You are loyalty. But this archetype carries a heavy shadow. The tragedy of the warrior is that her armor, once protective, begins to fuse with her skin. Shadow 1. Burnout and exhaustion. You are strong for too long. You take on too much. You forget rest. You forget softness. Your shoulders become permanently tense, your body always bracing for the next battle. You live in a state of constant internal alertness. If I relax, everything will fall apart. This is emotional exhaustion wearing a helmet. Shadow 2. Isolation in armor. You become so self-reliant that you don't allow anyone near. Not truly. You don't ask for help because I can handle it. You don't delegate because no one will do it right. You don't show weakness because I don't want to be a burden. People admire your strength, but they rarely feel needed by you. Strength becomes loneliness. Shadow 3. Competition with men. Often unconsciously, the warrior begins to compete with her partner. She corrects him, overrules him, outplans him, outperforms him, outreasons him, and without realizing it, she emasculates the man she loves, leaving her with either no man at all or a man too weak for her, whom she then resents. The Amazon wins the battle, but loses the relationship. How can the warrior heal? You are not meant to destroy this archetype. It is a sacred strength, but you must learn the art of removing your armor. Set a rule. Work stays outside the door. When you come home, consciously switch out of battle mode. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. Change your pace. Let your voice soften. Practice asking for help, even in small things. Ask him to carry a bag, even if it's light. Ask for advice, even if you already know the answer. Give him space to protect you, even if you don't need protecting. A warrior must learn to surrender, not to enemies, but to love and peace. Allow yourself to be soft sometimes. Allow yourself to be held. Allow yourself to rest. That is not weakness. That is the wisdom of a seasoned fighter who knows battles cannot last forever. Take a moment. Feel the armor loosen. Feel your breath return. Because now, we are moving into the warmest, most nourishing feminine force. The caretaker, the guardian, the hearthholder. Now we step away from the battlefield and enter a warm, softly lit room. The kind of room where the air feels gentler, where you instinctively breathe deeper, where nothing is asked of you, only welcomed. This is the caretaker, the guardian, the woman whose presence feels like home, even if you're thousands of miles away from your actual house. Look at these women. There is no coldness here, no sharp edges, no pressure, only steady warmth. Julia Roberts, her smile alone conveys emotional safety, a sense that you can be exactly who you are and still be accepted. Next to someone like her, the nervous system relaxes. She radiates friendliness, openness, humanity. Rachel McAdams, pure reliability, loyalty that feels unconditional. She is the embodiment of the feeling, you don't face life alone. I'm here. With her, home is not a building, it's a person. Sarah Jessica Parker. The blend of comfort and structure, a type of care that doesn't smother, but shapes. Warmth that builds stability rather than chaos. Do you recognize yourself here? If this archetype resonates with you, then you are what I call a harbor woman. Your superpower is creating space, not just physical space, but emotional space. You have a rare gift. People feel safe around you, not judged, not tested, not evaluated, just seen and accepted. You nourish others not only with food, but with presence, attention, and emotional vitamins. Friends instinctively come to you when they are hurting. Partners lean on you when life becomes overwhelming. Children and adults alike feel calmer in your energy. Your value? Stability. You are the roots of the tree, solid, grounding, quietly holding the entire system together. You remember birthdays, you keep traditions alive, you create rituals that bind people into a family. A partner next to you blossoms because he senses a reliable emotional foundation. No matter how stormy the world becomes, your presence feels like a warm light in the window. But every gift carries a double edge, and the caretaker archetype has shadows that can be painful. Shadow 1. Smothering care. Sometimes your desire to help becomes too much. When care turns into control, your questions. Did you eat? Why are you dressed like that? Where are you going? Stop feeling like love and start feeling like surveillance. Adults don't want to be mothered. They want to be met as equals. Too much care suffocates desire, especially in relationships. It turns passion into routine and partnership into a parent-child dynamic. And nothing kills attraction faster than being treated like a little boy. Shadow 2. Losing yourself in others. This is the more painful shadow. The caretaker often gives so much that she vanishes. Your own needs get pushed to the back. Your desires wait until later. Your emotions stay unheard. You become the support system for everyone, and nobody realizes you are also human, also tired, also needing care. You burn out silently, hoping someone will notice. And when they don't, you feel resentment, disappointment, even grief. You feel invisible, because you gave away so much of yourself that nothing remained for you. How to find balance again. Your mission is simple yet profound. Care for yourself first. A nurturer who is rested, fulfilled, and joyful is a blessing to everyone. A nurturer who is empty becomes a heavy emotional burden on the entire household. So, make space for your hobbies. Say no when you are tired. Let others handle their own responsibilities. Stop preventing people from facing the consequences of their choices. Healthy care allows others to grow. Unhealthy care keeps them dependent. And remember, you are not just the heart of the home. You are a woman with dreams, needs, desires, and a life of your own. Do not burn yourself to keep others warm. Take a slow breath. Let the warmth settle. Let the grounding energy fill your chest. Because next, we enter the final archetype, one that women often lose with age but absolutely must reclaim. The maiden, the muse, the inner girl, the energy of play, creativity, and eternal youth. Now, take a breath. Let your shoulders soften, because we are stepping into the gentlest, brightest, most youthful part of the feminine psyche. The part that adulthood often silences, responsibility often crushes, and society often shames. This is the maiden, the muse, your inner girl, the spark of wonder that keeps your soul young no matter what the calendar says. Look at these archetypes in the faces of these actresses. Audrey Tautou. Think of her in Amélie. Her eyes do not simply look, they see. They find magic in the ordinary. The bubbles in a drink, the colors in a sunset, the joy in a tiny coincidence. She carries the energy of someone who still believes miracles are possible. Emma Stone. Playful, warm, quick to laugh, even at herself. She represents a woman who refuses to let life harden her. No heaviness, no bitterness, no pretense. She brings lightness into every room she enters. Amanda Seyfried. A crystal-like freshness. Dreamy, soft. A hint of endless spring in her gaze. She feels like the beginning of something. Hope, possibility, imagination. What does the maiden represent in you? She is lightness. She is spontaneity. She is the ability to find joy in small things, things adult life often tells us are silly or unimportant. She is the part of you that still wants to run barefoot in the grass, buy a ridiculous hat just because it makes you smile, or go out in the rain simply because the sound of it makes your heart feel alive. Many women abandon this archetype as they age. They think playfulness is immature. They think wonder is childish. They think creativity is impractical. And when they shut down this part of themselves, something inside them begins to age, not the body, but the soul. The maiden is the antidote to emotional aging. She keeps your eyes bright. She keeps your heart soft. She keeps your spirit curious. With her alive inside you, your life does not become routine. It becomes art. What is the maiden like in relationships? She is the spark, the breeze, the playful smile that men never forget. Even powerful, wealthy, reserved men, men with the world in their hands, often lose themselves over women with this archetype. Why? Because with the queen, they must earn respect. With the warrior, they must keep up. With the caretaker, they rest. But with the maiden, they feel like heroes. She awakens a man's desire to protect, to carry, to create, to impress. Not because she manipulates, but because she inspires. Her admiration is authentic, wide-eyed, unfiltered. She looks at a man and thinks, "Wow, you did that?" And that look alone can make him want to move mountains. She does not drain with drama. She does not suffocate with control. She shifts his attention from problems to possibilities. She is a breath of fresh air in the office of his life. But the maiden also has a dangerous shadow. Lightness, when unbalanced, becomes irresponsibility. Shadow 1, the eternal princess. This is the maiden without adulthood. She refuses responsibility. She plays the helpless child. I don't want to decide. I don't want to think. Handle everything for me. She becomes demanding, spoiled, easily offended, and emotionally fragile. She confuses love with attention and problems with punishments. Shadow 2, the Chaos Girl. This is the woman who follows pleasure without boundaries. She spends money impulsively, ignores long-term consequences, avoids structure, and then wonders why her life feels unstable. She is fun at a party, but terrifying to build a future with. How to awaken this archetype in a healthy way? If your life feels too serious, too monotonous, too adult, your maiden needs oxygen. So give her oxygen. Do something playful, even small. Dance in your living room, buy a balloon, color in a notebook, sing loudly in your car, pick a flower on the sidewalk. Wear a bold shade of lipstick just because. Do something illogical but joyful. Do something imperfect but freeing. Let control go for at least 1 hour each day. Laugh at your mistakes. Allow yourself to be silly. Remind yourself that joy is not childish. Joy is medicine. A woman with laughter in her eyes will always be radiant, always be attractive, always be spiritually young. Now, take a moment. Look back at the 6 archetypes we've explored together. The dignified queen, the passionate lover, the intuitive priestess, the unstoppable warrior, the nurturing caretaker, the playful maiden. Each of them is not a separate woman. Each of them is already inside you. And now, we arrive at the final and most important part, a conclusion that ties everything together, restores your inner balance, and reveals the secret of feminine happiness. My dear women, now that we've walked together through the gallery of 6 archetypes, the queen, the lover, the priestess, the warrior, the caretaker, and the maiden, I want you to do something gentle and powerful. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine all 6 of these women standing before you, not on a screen, not in a movie, but inside your own body, your own heart, your own memory. This is the truth many people never learn. No real woman is only one archetype. You are not a single role. You are a living, shifting constellation. A multi-layered, shimmering mosaic of energies that change with seasons, relationships, years, and inner cycles. Trouble begins when a woman traps herself in only one identity. When she says, "I'm just the warrior. I must stay strong. I'm only the caretaker. My needs don't matter. I'm the queen. Vulnerability is weakness. I'm a mother. Playfulness is childish. I'm sensual, but wisdom is not my thing." Each of these beliefs cuts off a part of your own soul. When a woman chooses one role and forbids herself the others, she dries out. She gets stuck. She becomes predictable even to herself. Let me tell you a secret. The real secret of feminine magic. The true power of a woman is not being one archetype. It is the ability to switch. Yes, switch. Consciously, elegantly, strategically, to call upon the exact energy you need in the exact moment you need it. Picture this. In the morning, you walk into a meeting. You straighten your back. You speak calmly, decisively, with clarity. Your inner queen handles the world with dignity. After work, you return home. The armor comes off at the door. You hug your family with warm arms, light a candle, soften your voice. Your caretaker creates safety. Later that evening, you are alone with your partner. You turn off the mother mode. You allow your hips to soften, your voice to deepen, your eyes to glow. Your lover returns, not rushed, not ashamed, but alive. When someone crosses a boundary, you do not scream. You do not explain. You look at them with calm, icy dignity. Your queen rises to protect your worth. When chaos hits your life, you tie your hair back. You take control. You act fast, think fast, decide fast. Your warrior steps forward and restores order. On a quiet night, you reflect. You listen inward. You read, write, meditate, or simply breathe. Your priestess guides you back to yourself. And on a sunny weekend, you allow yourself to be silly, to dance, to wander, to laugh until your stomach hurts. Your maiden reminds you that life is not only duty, it is joy. Every archetype has a gift. Every archetype has a shadow. But you are the one who chooses which one leads. You are not meant to live as one woman. You are meant to live as many, harmonized, balanced, awakened. Inside you is the queen's dignity, the lover's fire, the priestess's intuition, the warrior's strength, the caretaker's warmth, the maiden's wonder. All of them make you whole. All of them are your birthright. All of them are needed for a full, rich, beautiful life. So now, take a deep breath and ask yourself with honesty, not the polite honesty you show others, but the raw honesty you show only to your soul. Which archetype in me is starving? Which one has I locked away? Which one do I secretly long to awaken? Is it your warrior to bring order back into your life? Your lover to bring warmth and glow to your eyes again? Your maiden to bring color back to your days? Your queen to remind you of your worth? Your priestess to reconnect you with intuition? Your caretaker to soften your home and relationships? The answer you just felt, that soft whisper, that is where your next chapter begins. And now, dear women, I invite you to share with me in the comments. Which archetype feels strongest in you right now? Which one do you want to develop? Which one surprised you the most today? Your stories move me. Your honesty inspires me. Each of you is a universe, unique, irreplaceable, and infinitely complex. Please remember, you have only one you in this lifetime. Treat her with gentleness. Protect her. Nourish her. Love her. Because another woman like you will never exist again. Until next time, my dear ones, be happy, be whole, be alive.